Hey guys, it's Toast from Toasty Chow Alpha, back again with another video. And today our topic is going to be about yield farming. And we're going to be going over all the do's and don'ts of yield farming, the basics, everything you need to know. And then we're also going to be giving a demo on how you can yield farm yourself using Velodrome on Optimism to earn good rewards and money on the tokens that you're holding during the bear market. So, without further ado, let's get right into the basics. So, first things first, the definition of yield farming is the practice of staking or lending crypto assets in order to generate high returns or rewards in the form of additional cryptocurrency. Now, this is a definition by CoinMarketCap. I don't think they need to include the high returns because you can earn lower returns that are more real instead of just inflationary returns, which most of the early yield farming was. But now there are great protocols that are hashtag real yield trending on crypto Twitter, and there are many protocols like this or DEXs that have good sustainable yield. Now, basically, there are two different kinds of liquidity providing strategies that you can have for yield farming. There's stable yield farming, and there's volatile yield farming. So when you yield farm, you have to deposit two different kinds of tokens into a pool. So this would be you, and these would be your two different tokens. And you would be trying to deposit these into a protocol like Velodrome, and the Velodrome would then give you a return. And so the difference between a stable and a volatile position is that if it is stable, this would be two assets that are correlated in price. So you could be providing liquidity for something like USDC and DAI, like we have right here, and that would be the definition of a stable position because these two assets are both supposed to be pegged to the dollar, so you're not going to be moving up and down, which is in permanent loss. So we'll get into that because we're going into what is a volatile position. So a volatile position would be like if you were depositing two different tokens into a liquidity pool and these two tokens were like OP and USDC. I guess we could have just had that backwards, but USDC and DAI, or OP and DAI, we'll say. DAI again. But, so obviously, OP is a tradable token that can go up or down, and DAI is pegged to the dollar. So let's just say OP goes up 50%. Well, that means the value of your OP is now different from the value of your DAI when you entered it into the staking pool. So, what the protocol does is it sells some of your OP that's inflated in price and buys some DAI. So that way they're both equal again, and that way you can always get the real value of OP on these dexes. And so, that's why impermanent loss can be bad, because it'll sell off these tokens that are pumping, and so you'll be making less gains because you're selling off these tokens into the stable ones. Or on the way down, it works differently too. So let's just say OP is falling and it drops down 30%. Well, then they have to sell DAI to buy back OP, so that way it becomes stable again. So there is the risk of impermanent loss when using volatile positions. Alright, and now before we get into our demo, I just want to remind you all that it is extremely important to proceed with all caution when using any sort of yield farming or liquidity staking protocols, except for the big name ones. DeFi is DeFi and it is decentralized and much better than centralized exchanges in that regard. But that also means that there are bad projects out there, and the bad projects usually you can tell they won't have traction right away. But there are projects like Terra Luna where you could have provided liquidity on Anchor for 20%, and eventually it all toppled down. But Velodrome is much different than Terra Luna or anything else, so we are not too concerned about that. But remember, if you're doing this anywhere else, take precautions, do your due diligence, and yeah, just make sure that you're not getting yourself into anything stupid. So we're going to go over our demo for Velodrome next, and we're going to be providing two different tokens like we have here. Oh, and they're going to be USD Plus and USDC is what we are going to be using today. And USD Plus is just a stable coin that is backed by it's over collateralized by USDC. So the only way it's going to depeg is if USDC is depegging. And it earns you 6%, I believe, on average. I think right now it's at 12% because of OP incentives, because of the optimism grants. But usually it's around 6% a year just by holding the token. It auto compounds for you. But so today we're going to be providing liquidity as a stable position on Velodrome for USDC USDC and USDC Plus. Oh, and a last minute thought, I also wanted to preface that usually these yields that are given out by the protocols are the protocol's native token. And today the protocol that we're using is Velodrome, the DEX, and it's a VE33 DEX where these tokens that are given out for yield farming, you can also lock and stake these tokens and use them to vote on different pools, which will then receive more yield because they're gaining more votes, which means that people are obviously earning their velo, and then you can stake it and vote on pools. But that is a different topic for another video. I just wanted to preface that these protocols will usually be giving you out their own native tokens in form of yield. So that's another thing you need to be wary of, and make sure that the token or the protocol is actually a good protocol, like I said before. But without further ado, we are going to get into the demo. Alright, so this is the front page of Velodrome. This is the swap section on app.velodrome.finance. Link will be in the description. But one Velo is currently worth around 0.025 cents. And this is the yield farming token that you would earn. But that's not what we're using today. We're going to be using USDC and USD Plus. I'm just going to do another 50 so that way it's even. Look at that, we earned 5 cents from that trade. Well, I guess not because of gas. But, so, what is yield farming and how can I earn money with this shit? That is the answer we're going to give you. So, as you can go through here on Velodrome, these are all the different liquidity pools that they have for making these swaps cheaper. And you can filter them by my deposits, active gauges, show stable pools or volatile pools, and we're not going to be using volatile pools today. We're actually going to be using one. But you can also sort by how many tokens of them you have in your wallet, as you can see, that just popped up, or by how much you stake will pop up. But today we're going to be doing USD Plus and USDC, which are two correlated assets that never move. That's why it's stable AMM. But right now, Velodrome has 12.68%, which is really high APR for USDC, basically. I mean, these are basically just the same token. And so we're going to be adding liquidity. So what I just did was you click on Manage, and then what you do is you choose the pair you want, and then always make sure that this is stable and not volatile. It'll give you a warning. But this is where you deposit your tokens. So we're just going to do $200 worth of each, and sometimes it'll be different because that's just how the pools are set up, where they'll over collateralize one of the other tokens with the other token just in case. And so what we are going to do is deposit and stake our LP. And then you should have to allow usage of USDC or DAI or USD Plus or whatever tokens you're doing, and then you're also going to have to allow usage of the LP token itself. So you probably will have more transactions than I did, but that's because I've done this before. And then you're also going to have to stake your LP tokens in the gauge. If any of those transactions fail, you can always come back to this, and if you can't find where your tokens went, usually they'll just be in this my pool amount, where it means you've deposited them into the pool, but you have not staked them for a yield. So what you would do is you'd go to manage, and this little thing would pop up and show green, and you'd be able to stake it, or blue, I mean. But anyway, as you can see, we have now staked around $420 worth of USDC and USD Plus for 12.65% APR. And then what you'd be able to do is you'd be able to come right over here to the rewards tab. And as you can see, we are currently earning Velo. So this refreshes about every 6 hours, I want to say, like 4 times a day, 3 times a day, and they'll give you your position. But we're earning about 13% right now, which is pretty good on USDC that you just have in your holding. This is all on Optimism, of course. So you might need a bridge to Optimism if you have your tokens on Ethereum or any other chain, but that's really simple. We also made a video about Stargate for the Optimism quests where you can bridge for fairly cheap. ETH's the only expensive one at around $4, obviously, because it's Ethereum, but really cheap, and the transaction fees are extremely low on Optimism, so yeah, all around good. Okay guys, we're just going to let this sit for a little bit, and I'm going to come back and we'll see if we have any more Velo. Alright guys, I'm back after doing some math and have realized that I would only be making about $50, a little bit over $50 a year on this position, so it has changed from less than 0.01 to 0.01. So we are now accumulating Velo, but it's going to take a few hours for us to see a noticeable change. So instead, I'm just going to use DefiLlama, which was shown in our previous video. If you guys want to check that out, and leave a like on how do you do DeFi analytics. We're just going to do a mini segment using DefiLlama to show you guys how you can find good yield on the tokens you're holding, and what dexes are good places to store your tokens. Okay, so in our previous video we went over DefiLlama, but today we're going to be using specifically the yields and the volumes. So what you can do here is you can check for yield of yield farming tokens or different pools or just single-sided staking pools, and you can filter by token. So like if you wanted to find pairs or pools for ETH, you just set it to ETH and it only shows ETH ones. Obviously you can stake ETH at Lido for 4%, ETH to S staked ETH pool on Curve for 3%. You can filter them by APY, but most of the really high ones are probably tokens that aren't doing too hot, so I would just take a look at the TVL usually, because those are usually stabler ones. You can see USDC to WETH on 21% on Uniswap. You can also do it by chain. This is obviously all of them right now. If you just wanted to do it on Ethereum or layer 2s of Ethereum, you could choose that as well. And then you can see this is all of it, and then it shows you the chain right here. And you can also filter by yield, or this is stablecoin distributors, I believe, lending, just dexes, so you could get rid of everything or just have these. And then you can also use volumes to tell which dexes have the most volume and the most use. Obviously there's Uniswap at the top with the most, and then there's Dodo, which I've never really used before, Kyber, and then I believe this is in 24-hour volume as well. I think, yeah, Velodrome's volume today isn't that great. If you go by total volume over time, oh, it's even lower. But anyway, I guess it's down here, 29 still. But so you can usually come in here and check to see if it actually is a good pool, or if they have good pools on their protocol, like Balancer, Curve, KyberSwap. Trader Joe is a good one. BuySwap is another good one, along with QuickSwap, PancakeSwap, wherever PancakeSwap is. And that shows what chains they're on. But yeah, so there's a lot of different tools at your disposal to find different ways to be earning yield on your tokens. And there's a lot of different tools to be finding different places that you can be interested in and learning about, and also be accumulating during the bear market. So thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave any questions you guys have in the comments or join our Discord. Please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.